Hey friends, Doc David here. Wow, it is sunny outside. The spring is coming. The spring is coming. When does spring happen? The 21st, I think, of March? Maybe April? I don't know. Spring is here. There's daffodils that are out, but it's still freezing tonight. So don't plant any plants outside right now. It's not ready for planting. Here in the Pacific Northwest. Elsewhere, maybe it is. So I posted a couple weeks back about gaslighting, and just recently I've had several clients coming in talking about their partners and kind of the struggles that they're having with their partners. And a lot of what happens in what they're talking about, at least, is gaslighting. And so for some people are pretty familiar with the term gaslighting. Some people are like, what is that? You mean a light that's lit by gas, like in ancient London times? So I want to really quickly go over some ideas of some things that really can define what gaslighting is, and if any of these things are in your relationship. And I would say in your relationship consistently, chances are you're being gaslit, and chances are you might be in a relationship with a narcissist, possibly. I'm not making any diagnoses here, but what I found is that a lot of times when these gaslighting things come up consistently in a relationship, it's related to somebody that's showing narcissistic traits. And that's a whole nother separate conversation of traits versus like an actual personality disorder. But there's 10 things that I've kind of lined up that I think you should be red flags in your relationship if there are things that are happening consistently. So one of them is they tell blatant lies. And so you ask a question that you already know an answer to, most likely, but you're just trying to get confirmation, and they just lie about it. Number two is they deny that they said something even though you have proof of it. Even though you were there, they deny that they said this thing. And usually it's something that makes them look bad. They just absolutely lie about it. They say they don't know what you're talking about. They use confusion to make you question yourself. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You never said that to me. You're crazy, right? That's one of the other things. They use ammunition against you. So if you have kids with this person, they may say, oh, the kids are so unlucky to have you, or wow, you're really making the kids suffer because of whatever it is. And so then again, you're second guessing yourself and you're questioning yourself, when in reality, you're probably a fine parent, but a person that gaslights uses the kids as a weapon against you. They wear you down. A lot of the times when I'm talking to somebody that has a spouse or a partner that gaslights them, they talk about being exhausted because they're always second guessing themselves because of what their gaslighting partner says to them. Their actions don't match their words. So great example is they say they love you, but they don't treat you in loving ways. They say they care about you, but then they don't treat you in ways that would make you feel cared for. And in those instances, I say you got to pay attention to the actions, not the words. Because a lot of times in most relationships, if you just pay attention to the words and never the actions, that's risky, because a lot of time people say, I'll show up on time. They don't show up on time. I value you. I'll do this thing for you. They don't do this thing for you. And so that gets confusing. And so pay attention to the actions, not the words. Positive reinforcement is used sometimes. This is where it gets really confusing, because you think, okay, this person's gaslighting me, but then the very next day they may compliment you for something that you've done. And then it kind of, again, makes you second guess yourself. It's confusing. Like, wait a minute. They just told me I was crazy, but now they're giving me this compliment of like how amazing I am. That's definitely confusing, right? Again, we're talking what's happening consistently over time. And if they just do that thing where they like are kind of rude to you, but then they give you positive reinforcement, but there's nothing else attached to it, like any of these other things attached to it, then chances are it's probably not gaslighting. You just have kind of a jerky partner. They project onto you. This is another big one. So a lot of times when you have a partner that's gaslighting you, they say that you're a liar, you're cheating, you're addicted to something, you're using drugs, you're drinking too much. And in reality, they're doing it themselves. I just had this last week, I had somebody who's talking about how they had broken up with their partner, and their partner I had been working with them, and the partner was saying, "Oh, you're cheating on me. I can't trust you. You're cheating on me." Well, it turns out the partner was actually cheating on them. And it just it blew my mind, because I would like to think that I'm some master psychic and I'm all knowing and I know what people are doing. But I only see people like 50 minutes out of every 2 weeks. And so people have like whole other lives that they live sometimes, most of the time. And so I don't know these things, and I wish I did, because it saves a lot of heartache for people that like put a lot of trust in someone, and then they find out this person's been having an affair the whole time, and they've actually just been projecting what they're doing or what they're feeling inside onto their partner. One of the things that happens is with people that gaslight, they get people against you. So they make up stories about you, and they tell them to either coworkers or not strangers, but coworkers or family members, and who are maybe a little bit distant from you. And so then those coworkers and family members get this picture of you that is completely untrue. And again, it's gaslighting. It's this idea of making you look bad. And then one of the other final things that happens is a person that's a gaslighter, and this is where it leans into the world of narcissism, is they have conversations, like when you point out something that they've done, they will call you crazy. They will tell you you have no idea what you're talking about. You kind of start second guessing yourself, and they start talking about life in a way that everyone else is against them. If they only really knew how much work and effort they put into things, then they would be cared for and loved. But they're unjustly accused of things, or they're seen in an unjust way, and they're very victimy. So these are several things that would fall all under the idea of being gaslit, or a person that's gaslighting. And so again, the important thing to remember is this is something that is happening consistently in a relationship over time, not just like a 1 or 2 time thing, but it's something that if you're in a relationship for a long period of time and you feel any of these things, or if you see any of these things, chances are you're in a relationship where you're being gaslit. Now, what do you do about that? That's something that we can save for a future video. There is stuff you can do about it. Most of the time, I'll just point blank say, get out of that relationship. A lot of times people are super invested and emotionally invested in it, so it's not as easy as I'm saying it is to just leave, because there's a lot of emotional attachments there. So that would be a topic for a future Instagram post. Hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, definitely comment below and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability, or give some examples of when you were gaslit by a former partner, or when you're being, or how you're being currently gaslit. Would love to hear stories that you have. Take care. Spring is here. It's a beautiful day out today.